to another.
Gloucester side then, and the front row with Nick Wood and Carlos Nieto propping, Mevin Davis hooking, and no sign of any great weakness there. Gloucester have been living without Alex Brown for a while now, so Adam Eustace and Marco Bortolami, the captain, a regular and strong partnership in the second row. The back row has been hit by injury. Forrester, Hazel, Bohr, Merriman, all missing. So Peter Buxton is aided this week by Luke Narroway, normally a number 8, and Adam Boulding, who plays at 8 and with a point to prove. At scrum half, Rory Lawson starts with no Peter Richards, who is with England. Ryan Lamb, one of the famous 20-year-olds, is at 10. His mate Anthony Allen watches from the England camp, so Rudy Kyle and Jack Adams combine at centre. No Mike Tyndall either, he still has this calf problem. And on the wings, better injury news as James Simpson-Daniel starts for the first time this season with James Bailey on the other flank. Willie Walker moves back to fullback from 10. No Morgan, Bolshaw, or indeed the excellent Foster in the back three, of course. For Saracens, we will see a much more settled look. Kevin Yates and Kobus Vizaki, the two props, and Fabio Ongaro, the hooker, before he heads off on his international travels this autumn. Ian Fullerton returns to partner the captain Simon Raoului, that's at lock. The ex-first team skipper Hugh Vivian and David Seymour are the flankers. Ben Skirving, the number 8. And that pack has been doing good work for Saracens over the last couple of weeks or so. By the way, the news on Richard Hill encouraging. He's back in A-team action. At number 9, the South African Neil de Kock, a new signing. He's going really well. Glenn Jackson has been at Saracens a bit longer than Neil de Kock, but he's also having a good season too. It's Ben Johnston and Kevin Sorrell in the centre. And the wings are Kameli Ratuvu, new from Fiji this year, and Richard Horton, recalled to the starting 15 today. And Dan Scarborough is the full-back for Saracens. And as we look at the replacements, mention should be made of the former Saracens man, Rob Thirlby, who could be taking on his old side today if he comes on. And for Sarries, Andy Farrell, of course, a man that continues to attract bags of attention when what he really wants is a bit of time and space to settle into his new sport. And Stuart mentioned it, Saracens have an appalling record here at Kingsholm, just the 1 win in 16 attempts on this ground. But after 2 victories in the Challenge Cup and a thumping win over Bath in their last Premiership outing, Alan Gaffney's men know that it's high time to find the consistency of performance that is required to challenge at the top end of the game. And if they come here and do a job, then Sarries can start to talk about some seriously better times to come. Simon Raoului, the Saracens Player of the Month in October, leads the side onto the field. And in his side, Neil de Kock, a man who is going nowhere this month on international duty, and Sarries will be delighted because he's slotted in superbly.
Young Dave Seymour is another man who will not be bothering the selectors this month. All the talk of Tom Rees, but this is a young number 7 with a lot of talent, a real scavenger. He's got a big task today to disrupt Ryan Lamb, very important for Saracens.
And nicknamed by the Shed, My Little Pony, because of that hairstyle. And Dave Seymour says he sees the funny side of it, no problem there. And he'll be looking to impress against Gloucester tonight. After their European reality check, that's how Dean Ryan has described the last 2 weeks of scrambling up the Heineken Cup learning curve. The Leinster lesson, followed by a tutorial from Agen. It's a long way back in that competition, but it's been a long time out for James Simpson-Daniel, injured pre-season. His timing could not have been better. The recovery just about complete, and he's back in front of the Shed, where he loves to be. Marco Bortolami, what a charming bloke he came across as on the rugby club this week, but he can put the charm to one side now.
Yeah, and behind Bortolami, in between him and Simpson-Daniel, Ryan Lamb attracts loads of attention. Really had a difficult time at home to Agen. We know about his talent. Today we will find out a lot more about his temperament. Fascinating.
Referee David Rose. And no international thoughts here. It is a critical game for both sides. Gloucester fear losing that early season momentum. Saracens want to capitalise on that building feeling in Europe. Saracens are in the black, Gloucester in their home strip of the cherry and white. And it's Lawson who puts up the first high ball of the evening, and it's beautifully taken, and Gloucester gets a real go forward straight away, and Nieto takes it on. That was a good kick from Lawson, whose chances have been few and far between with Peter Richards going so well. Jack Adams now comes to this side to find Willie Walker, normally a fly half, filling in at full-back tonight. Lawson again to Peter Buxton. Lawson once more. This is Ryan Lamb. Flat pass, verging on the forward. In the end, it was not forward. Seymour on the floor for Saracens. De Kock's service to Jackson. And the referee, feeling that Glenn Jackson was going nowhere, helps him out, blows the whistle for the knock-on.
Not certain whether Glenn Jackson thinks that. Standing very flat. Rativu in the wide. Very important man for Saracens. Jackson stands extremely flat, and that's one of the reasons why Ben Johnston and Sorrell are at their very best this season. Picking lines off Jackson. Easy for your centres when your fly half just attracts the 7 as Jackson does.
Thanks, mate.
There's the front row for Saracens. Yates, Ongaro and Vizaki. All capped players. Kevin Yates a long time ago, but it's the Saracens pack who concede the first penalty. Vizaki concede, turned straight to the touch judge on this side and said, surely not. And it wasn't a ruck, it was a scrum, but it's a penalty, nevertheless.
And here's an interesting point. Willie Walker kicking at goal. Ryan Lamb relieved of those duties. And there you can see Wood this side. He put his outside arm on the ground, which you're not allowed to do. It collapsed there.
If he goes up, you got a bind as well, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Vizaki was very upset. Big call, though, isn't it? That Ryan Lamb is not kicking and Willie Walker is. Take the pressure off the young fly half, let him play, let him shape the game, let an experienced player like Walker take this particular responsibility.
It's a one-way big call because Lamb is being protected a little bit here, but it's not that big a call because Walker is, of course, a fine kicker in his own right, and he starts off with 3 points to prove the point. And Gloucester with their enterprising beginning, full of energy. The kick initially down the touchline from Lawson, allowing them to get the attacking platform, and they take advantage for it. See, that scrum comes down. Yeah,
you can see it, Nick Wood's left arm there, and that's why Kobus Vizaki was so upset. The Gloucester prop took the weight. You're not allowed to do that, so he was really upset with the near touch judge because he felt the touch judge should have been the eyes of the referee there.
Lawson can see it, it's not coming back on his side, and now we do have hands in a ruck. And we have another penalty to Gloucester. Adam Boulding been selected this season. Until now, that is. Getting this chance because of all these injuries in the back row. Ball, Hazel, Merriman, and of course Forrester, who would have been very close if not starting this weekend for England against the All Blacks. With his torn cartilage in the left knee, leaving Forrester out for 5 to 6 weeks. There's the penalty to touch. Let's go down to the front line for the first time tonight. Good evening, Dowie.
Good evening, Miles, and I think a fantastic start from the scrum half, a controlling start from Rory Lawson. Beautiful box kick. That's exactly what he wants. And watch your open side, Luke Narroway. What a fantastic Aussie rules catch. Secures the ball, and they want more of that tonight. Forwards, great platform. Rory Lawson back on the action, and look at that, he's made 40-50 metres. Brilliant play.
And it led to the penalty, and his side have got another penalty here on halfway. They're all going Gloucester's way at the moment. Rory Lawson, clearly see he can kick well. His service is good too, isn't it?
He's a very good player, very different sort of player to Peter Richards. Doesn't have that sort of combustible element to his game. Not quite as quick, not quite as strong, but he is very, very lively around the base of the scrum. He runs closer to his forwards, and his kicking game is excellent, probably better than Richards. And now Willie Walker, he too will be looking to make his mark. Long range on the 15-metre line, but he can kick it a long way.
Former North Harbour man, play with the Highlanders in Super 12. And you can see that he is feeling confident early on to be taking this one on. Ball to Gloucester essentially as a fly half, but needs must at the moment with Ollie Morgan's shoulder injury. Ian Bolshaw with England.
I think one of the things about Walker, though, Miles, I've seen him play very competently at 15 or inside centre, and I think Dean Ryan saw him always as a man who could step in on just this sort of occasion.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that versatility to his game, always has been one of his assets, along with his kicking, but this time he's just a little bit too short. Taken by Dan Scarborough, and he kicks it back Gloucester's way, but he's not found his touch, if that was his aim. And here's a Walker again, now with ball in hand. Lawson, short ball to Adam Eustace, who will move back into the back row. If Gloucester have to make a change there, 2 second rows on the bench in Pendlebury and James. Ryan Lamb caught in the heavy traffic. Seymour will be on him all night if he can. The open side, Lawson kicks again over the top of Ratuvu, and the Fijian watches this one closely, feeds it to Scarborough, who this time makes sure of his touch. Dan Scarborough, just 1 try this season. 7 last season, and remember at Leeds he couldn't stop scoring them, could he, for 3 years. Got 27 in the years between 2001 and 2004. Stuart.
Miles, first battle between youngsters Ryan Lamb and Dave Seymour. Circled Ryan Lamb. What he's going to try and do is bring Seymour into this angle, and then what Lamb will do is dart like so. That's what he loves to do. It's almost like a petrified player. He stops, he's still, then he tries to go. What he's hoping is that the Saracens' drift defence is 1 metre, 2 metres out of position, then he darts through it. You can see there the little step and go, but this time the cover is very good, but he loves to do that, and sometimes he does it too much and he can get clattered, but he's a danger.
Nimble work from Seymour, who hopped back into position to make the tackle.
Well, Seymour won't feel bad about initially being beaten on the inside. If your 7's pushing your 10 in field, that's into the traffic where your runners can't do as much damage. You don't want your 10 going on your outside. That's 5-point territory.
Yes, trusting the defender on the inside, and the tackle was made, and Seymour completed that tackle. Down from Narroway. There's a line-out option, the 7. Prefers to play 8. Buxton, supported by the real number 8, that is Adam Boulding. Lawson, Lamb, Adams. A show from Adams. Another player with so much potential. Lawson nearly through that gap. In goes Nieto to help out. Well played by Mevin Davis, acting as the scrum half. Fireworks going off all around the ground, of course, tonight. Here comes Narroway. He stopped Nieto.
It's good offloading, keeping the ball alive here, Gloucester.
Well, it's still a tremendous position here to work something from, and Ryan Lamb might be the man to do it. There he did beat the cover and finds the pass to Rudy Kyle. Gloucester score, and Kingsholm gives their team a collective pat on the back, but in particular they will be saluting not just the try scorer Rudy Kyle, but that youngster again, Ryan Lamb.
He's bounced back. We talked about his ability to step inside and then go, and this time Saracens don't get across on the drift, and the pass off the left hand, which wasn't good against Agen, is beautiful. Inside, Seymour's further out this time, he's not taking him, and by the time the cover gets there, the pass is absolutely spot on for Rudy Kyle. Lovely play. The little step, the change of pace. It's Cobus Vizagi. You can't have your tight head coming across against a 10. That's what's going to happen, and Gloucester deserved that. It's been a promising start.
So it's already 8-0. Only mistake, if you can call it that, is the long-range miss from Willie Walker, but it's probably at best 50-50 for Walker from that far out. This much closer in. This for a 10-0 lead, and we haven't played 10 minutes yet, or no? But it was a beautiful try. Ryan Lamb is not the finished article, but there's a lot to work with, isn't there?
He's close enough to completion, though, to see a circled man, a prop like Kobus Visagi, and he thinks, I'll step inside, see if you can get me. Not a chance. The South African left for dead, and that is 8-0.
That's the rock. Don't go in the side, stay. Yeah, I know he has.
Lawson just slipping back into his 22 there, hasn't found his touch anyway. Touch judge, I just heard there, pointed that out to David Rose. There's Johnston. Jackson, well, he's well outside his 22, put under pressure by Jack Adams, and Glenn Jackson so composed this season. Just for once there, looking a little bit rattled as the Gloucester players got on him quickly, reflecting the Gloucester start.
Yeah, Jack Adams did very well there, came through hard, just gave Jackson a little nudge. Gloucester will know that if they can get to Jackson, if they can disrupt him, then they're in with a great chance of taking the home points here, because he is the fulcrum of their attacking game.
Home crowd encouraged by this start from their team. Awkward ball for Lawson, but he's quick on his feet, isn't he, the scrum half. And his kick to Richard Horton, who calls for the mark. Richard Horton recalled to the side today for Tavita Vaikona. He's gone out of the 22 altogether. You might recall that Horton broke an ankle against Gloucester in a live game that we did right at the start of the year in January, which had a shocking first half. Did get a little bit better in the second. We're hoping for a lot better tonight, and Gloucester, you can see how much possession they've had, and they're starting to reflect that on the scoreboard now as they lead 8-0.
Yeah, great control from Gloucester, and this will disappoint Saracens. In the first 5 minutes, they gave 3 penalties away, they gave territory away, they gave momentum away, and Gloucester have benefited from it. And that's a bad start, because Saracens know to win here you have to silence the home crowd, and the likes of Jackson have just got to get his team on the front foot and start to build some phases and just get the back line moving.
Take another look at that try then during this break in play. Injury is to Eustace.
Yeah, that's a lovely play there, isn't it? Hugh Vivian, blindside flanker, beaten on the inside, Kobus Visagi on the outside. And once Lamb has done the hard part and made the gap, he's done the bread and butter well. It's a good pass, it's a well-made score. Important for Ryan Lamb after a difficult Saturday afternoon against Agen. He'll feel an awful lot better after that.
Nevin Davis throws. Lawson, again, has done very well with a terrible ball from that line out. Walker's kicked, and he's kicked a long way. Scarborough. Slipping on the surface there, which is generally very good. Down Scarborough with that clearing kick. Thomas Castagnette, another player missing from the Saracens side. Scarborough at fullback. Castagnette returned to A-team action on Monday night, along with Richard Hill, played in that game.
Well, Rory Lawson hasn't had many starts for Gloucester, but he has played really well early on in this game. This is Willie Walker clearing. But good ball or bad ball, the Scottish scrum half is very quick on his feet, isn't he? Decision-making, kick-in, offloading. Good signing from Gloucester, good strength in depth. Richards away, they're losing nothing. Different sort of player, and with Hayden Thomas on the bench, Gloucester can say they've got 3 Premiership-class number 9s.
There's 3 9s and 3 10s in this squad as well, with Walker, okay, at full-back, we say showing his versatility tonight, but Lamb at 10 starting tonight, and Ludovic Mercier on the bench. And to have that kind of quality and depth at half-back suggests that Gloucester really do mean business this season.
Mind you, when Mercier does play, it doesn't half affect the way their backline functions. Very different sort of player, and that's why I think, despite a loss of confidence, Ryan was desperate to stay with Lamb.
And good on Dean Ryan as well for showing faith in the youngsters.
Yeah.
He knows they've been overhyped and has made that point this week. There's a penalty to Saracens. And Glenn Jackson, their fly half.
Just watch your angle there, Viv, on the drive.
New Zealander, like Willie Walker.
There's your mark there. Take it.
Adam Eustace, number 4 there, straight into Kevin Yates. Quite clear obstruction. David Rose spots it immediately. Right call. Now Ongaro, another outstanding Italian with a nice slick throw to the front. Saracens' first piece of usable possession.
Ongaro will be heading away after this match to join Italy in their international fixtures. And he's right in the middle of this. The Saracens move towards that Gloucester 22. First time in the match, they've really threatened to score some points. Can they make this one count? Ongaro's still got it. Now he lays it to Neil de Kock, who's going to the blind side. Little chip. And it's Lawson again, who's had a fine start, but that's charged down. And Lawson made sure, after the charge down, that he didn't allow the man to go through and follow it up. Rutuvu.
First ominous sign there for Gloucester. That was a really well-controlled drive infield from the Saracens pack, and you'll notice Neil de Kock didn't wait for it to stop. He tried to make something happen as it was still advancing forward.
Another charge down, this time from Ryan Lamb. It was Seymour who got there, and he gets in to make a tackle. Shed don't like it, they feel it's a little bit too late. And so does the referee. He's given a penalty from where the ball landed.
Yeah, that was
no quick ones, no quick ones.
Undoubtedly slightly late there from Seymour, not a lot in it.
Now then, you could have stopped. You had plenty of time, and there was no arms. Be very careful. Away you go.
5 years' time from now, he'll have his timing a little bit better and he'll get away with it. Does well, first of all, with a charge down of Ryan Lamb, and then it's Lawson kicks it. There you can see, big left shoulder coming through. Bang, could have got away. And that is just loose play because it's given Gloucester an easy 70 metres.
And intriguing there, Walker turning down the kick at goal. He'd already failed from almost identical position, didn't quite have the distance, and he goes towards the corner, and not too far out from that corner either. Here's Davies. Taken in by Bortolami, the captain. You know what the home crowd want. He might get it. Wardy's controlling the ball at the base of this. Seymour at the moment feels he doesn't have to join in. Nor to Vizaki. Vizaki goes in now. Saracens trying to take it towards the touchline. Raul Louis trying to pull it there, but he's pulled out of the way. As Gloucester go again. Referee still happy with this. No obstruction. Just falls short of the line. Lawson. Lamb looks to unlock the door again. Adams. Referee playing advantage here. Here's Wood. There is the penalty.
I must admit, I thought Adam Eustace obstructed again there. I feel Gloucester were a little bit lucky.
No, I didn't.
When the pack were driving for the line, I thought Gloucester's number 4 clearly got between.
He was offside.
It's going to be a card.
10 minutes offside.
Richard Horton goes, 10 minutes in the sin bin. I suppose the winger off is not the end of the world, but it's still a man.
It's a man and it's 3 points, and it means that Gloucester have extra space stumped somewhere, and with the Gloucester backline here, they have the capacity to strike. And this should be 11-0 now, so immediately 3 points from the yellow card. That was fairly ruthless refereeing there from David Rose, wasn't it? Team offence, not the individual, but they have conceded a lot of pens in the first 16 minutes.
And they concede that 3 points. Simon Raul says, come on, we need to lift it here now. 11-0. One man down for the next 10 minutes. And plenty for the Fijian captain of Saracens to think about here. I agree though, there was a moment during that drive towards the line when it seemed that Eustace was starting to obstruct the truck and trailer. And there is Eustace making the catch.
Leave it, you two. Stay there. Stay. Run. Let's go, boys, off the ground. Let's go.
Ram kicks. Saracens think about the quick one, but penny drops that they're a man down and there's no need to rush at this stage of the game.
Take the line.
I just think Sarries will feel things aren't going their way. There's Horton just coming up early, and it's a collective penalty, nothing much there, but that's what the yellow card is for. And by coming up early, he stopped Gloucester going wide, so he's deprived them of a potential opportunity of a score, hence the decision.
Well taken by Hugh Vivian.
No, yeah, yes.
And that's a Saracens penalty for pulling it down.
Fine, then with a maul, and he collapsed it.
Well, there's an irony.
He was fine, then with a maul, he pulled it down.
As they lose a man to the sin bin, they get a penalty themselves.
Just about the limit, isn't it, of Glenn Jackson's range. But he's taking it on. It is a perfect night for kicking. Still cold if you're standing around, but if you're out there playing, they'll be nicely warm, and Jackson can nail these.
Referee still talking to Saracens about the penalty, telling them it was a team offence. Richard Horton, the unlucky man to go off. Glenn Jackson, the club's leading point scorer this season. In all competitions, 121 before tonight. So they've been going over. What about from halfway? Good effort, but not quite enough. And Walker has sliced this right down the middle to Neil de Kock. He finds Scarborough. He didn't go forward. This is Johnston. Looking to use his strength, Ben Johnston.
Move. Do
Failing
something
to
and move.
roll
Do
away.
something
That's another
and move.
penalty to Saracens.
Now that's about 6 metres further up the field from where Jackson missed, and he missed by about 2 metres, so he's going to go for this. Here you can see Johnson very strong, but he's also well balanced, having a fine season. Straight through Wood, the prop forward. Nieto can't hold him, and then Gloucester concede the penalty. This game is littered with penalties at the moment, and he's just taking the pace out of the first 6 or 7 minutes where we saw some good fluent rugby.
Well, he's had a good sighter.
If he does exactly the same as he did about a minute ago, it's going to go 2 metres over the bar.
Let's see. Oh, perfect. Saracens on the board. And that says a lot about Glenn Jackson as a kicker.
Nothing changed at all. The strike was exactly the same as the first one. The only difference, it was a little bit closer. End over end, lovely strike. Knew he had the distance, didn't force it. Doesn't make it by a lot, but it's got enough.
Lamb restarts. Skirving was always backpedaling. Latuva has touched it.
Oh.
Touch and goal.
Nothing funny about those errors.
Touch and goal.
Nothing funny about that. What a mistake from Saracens.
It's a line out, 5 metres out. Skirving has let it go. And there, yeah, touching goal.
Yep. Skirvin just thought this ball is going to go out, and he left it, and there's a wicked bounce, and Ratavu just didn't react quickly enough. A bit luck for Gloucester, and they still have the extra man. Can they take advantage and give themselves a big early lead?
They've got 5 minutes left on the sin bin. They got the 3 points immediately after Horton had been sent to the sin bin, so in general play since then they haven't really taken advantage of it. Saracens have got the 3 points, and Gloucester will be looking to make this count. They have scored a try already. Now they've got an extra back. Simpson Daniel's gone across into midfield to check to see what the orders are, or maybe to give out the orders himself. Call the backs move. Davis throws. Gordolami takes again. Here we go, Gloucester again. Referee has to take a close look at that and does feel it's a penalty.
Main advantage. Collapse.
As it came to ground.
Penalty advantage.
Lawson to Lamb. It's meant for Simpson Daniel. The Cock is covering, so it's back for the penalty.
Penalty back there. Collapse.
For collapsing them all.
Penalty for the collapse.
Now, does Willie Walker go for 3 points, or does Bortolami say, let's really turn the screw here? I wonder, having just had a collapse line-out, whether the Italian skipper will say more. Let's go for more than 3 points.
Let's go.
Yes, Ryan Lamb was sprinting over here just to see his captain. I think he was expecting, the youngster was expecting the set-piece call, but maybe not this one. They've gone for the scrum.
Well, you do see more line-outs lost 5 metres out than you see scrums won, and Gloucester confident in their scrummaging.
Crouch and hold. Engage!
And they do have the extra back.
Yeah, and Simpson-Daniels in midfield, and that's where it's used.
That's what they're looking to do. Boulding to Lawson to Kyle on the crash ball initially. In goes Boulding again. And now Saracens get the penalty for holding on. Played it too tight, too close.
They did. I thought they were a little bit slow, Gloucester, getting to Rudy Kyle off the first drive, and in the end they paid the price there. Trying to suck in Saracens and then release quick ball. But if you take the contact, if you go shirt to shirt, you are going to lose some of these contacts. I just felt here there were alarm signs because Kyle is a little bit too far away. It's only Lawson that bails them out.
Your space.
Boulding and Co a little bit slow there, and the next time they drive, there you go, the penalty there. Sloppy from Gloucester.
It was a feature of their play in Europe, wasn't it? That sort of failure to clear the breakdown against Leinster and Agen. This now is Luke Narroway against Saracens. Gloucester now the only undefeated team in the Premiership following Bristol's defeat. Ryan Lamb's beating men for fun out there. And Simpson-Daniels calling on this side for the ball. There's Seymour with another tackle.
No, he's not. Stay.
Lawson. Eustace just forced a check on the pass there. In goes Nieto. Lamb switches the point of attack to find Walker. This is interesting. There's men on that side. Carr, the try score. Buxton carries.
Fighting to stay in field.
And to stay on his feet, Peter Buxton. He's a big target for the others to hit. Nieto equally thought about the short ball too, and they go to Mevin Davis, who gathers up some pace there, the hooker. Gloucester throwing everything at Saracens here with this Simbin advantage. Lawson again to Adams. In goes Raoul Louis and Scarborough. Lawson, but Saracens are scrambling on the floor. Vizagi goes in, but it has gone forward off a Saracens hand.
It's a very brave defence there, Raoul Louis in first, and that's on Garo, who dived on the ball. The ball was out, he knocked it forward. The Italian hooker suffering a bit there. Big hit there from the Pacific Islands captain, and as the ball squirts out, bang. Brave as you like, Fabio Ongaro there, paying for that.
I know you do.
He's tough. He'll try and stay out there, but he's hurting. Let's go to Dowie. What have you got, Dowie?
Well, it's interesting, Miles. Things aren't going well for Saracens at the moment. Indisciplines put them down to 14 men, but it's the indecision at half-back. You see this instance, the right dot, that's Johnson there. The left dot, that's Jackson. Basically, they should be the other way around. As it goes back, shall I go there? Shall you go there? And the result is the ball that Johnson comes into 10. When the ball eventually comes out, Jackson is put under pressure by Adams, the ball's going out. When Saracens play well, Glenn Jackson plays well. He's not playing well tonight.
Glenn Jackson still enjoying it. Alongside Johnson, of course, who does offer that extra kicking option, doesn't he, Ben Johnson? Got a massive boot on him, but as Dano is pointing out, they need to be absolutely certain who's going to take charge in what particular situation.
It's decision-making and authority matters so much at 10 and 12, and as Dowie pointed out there, just got a little bit indecisive. Now it's about defending. Gloucester really wants something from this foray.
Pressure.
Just about 1 minute left on the Simbin.
Slip on this surface. Slip on this surface.
I sort of said Gloucester really wants something. Of course they do. It's stated the obvious. But it's magnified by the fact that they have that extra man. And these are moments when the away team are man short. If they can survive, they use that as a building point.
Don't worry, we've made a career out of it. Here's Lawson to Lamb. Oh, there's a gap! There's a big gap, and Carr scored again! This time it's underneath the posts. And the shed like that one too. Just before Richard Horton is coming back onto the field out of the sin bin. Gloucester in the nick of time make Saracens pay for their indiscretion 10 minutes ago.
I don't really know what Saracens were doing there defensively. It's a good strong line from Kyle, and Lamb waits, but frankly the decoys weren't that convincing. Rudy Kyle pumped through and celebrate there. Gloucester get their reward, but question marks about Saracens' defence there. More indecision.
Conversion, Walker 18-3. Kyle 2 tries. The former Natal shark. And as he reflects on that, Richard Horton is back on the field. He was pretty fresh when he went off, hardly touched the ball. And Saracens will be looking to try and get him in the game now, but it's a long way back already. 15 points at Kingsholm. Especially when they've only won once before here in their history, so they know all about suffering pain on this ground. Boulding's catch and set up to Lawson. One of those teasing kicks. It's come off a Gloucester hand. They're away, not that on, I thought. Yes, the referee has given it.
As we go back to this trial now, I was thinking initially there must have been a brilliant decoy run. I thought Adams had come up with something. Didn't happen. When you look here now, you can see there's the decoy line in your far screen, the Gloucester runner. And I think surely something has to be pulling the cover across. But when you look at it, nothing is. And all that happens is we've got a missed tackle here. And that's what you see now. Bad tackling. Bang. There's no decoy. I think Jackson has just fallen off his man, and it's a plain missed tackle, and that's going to disappoint Saracens.
Use the line as the mark. Come down flat. Crouch and hold. Engage!
And Rudy Kyle eyeing a hat-trick.
Stay there. Go back.
Jackson, Johnson always dropped it, and then Lamb just managed to get a boot on it. Rotuvu goes back.
Lost forward first.
Referee pulls them back for the knock-on, and at the moment everything's going wrong for Saracens.
And a lot is going right for young Ryan Lamb after a torturous 80 minutes against Ajan. He's going to be feeling good. One break to make a try, and whilst there's questionable defence for the second try, he delayed the pass well. He gave his runner the best possible chance to exploit any weakness, and he did. Saracens have got to stabilise here because they're in danger of sinking.
And the Gloucester defence conceded 2 bonus point tries in Europe, not really tested so far. It's Gloucester doing all the testing, and Lawson alongside Lamb is having a fine night as well, but he's been penalised there for holding on after the tackle. Rare mistake from Rory Lawson, who's been going pretty well since the first whistle this evening, son of the former Scottish international Alan Lawson, played in the 1970s.
It's been all Gloucester, hasn't it, in the first half hour, but if there's one area where one would have to be critical, as we see a missed touch, it's their ability to win the breakdown ball. They've been a bit slow there.
James Bailey trying to get into the act. Louis. Seymour. That's what he does so well, just snaffles that ball when it's available, and again it leads to a penalty, creates a bit of pressure.
Hit before you got your hands on it.
It's little swings of penalties, aren't they? They seem to... Gloucester have had a period of time when they got lots of penalties and they got some points. Saracens are getting some now, but what they haven't done is build any fluency and rhythm into their game. They played splendidly against Bath on their last Premiership start. Against Narbonne they played some good stuff, but at the moment there's no pace on their game at all, and Raoului knows they have to generate that pace, get the likes of Horton and Scarborough and Ratabui into play, otherwise this back three are wasted.
Narbonne away is a good win. Glasgow also beaten in the Challenge Cup. That's the competition that Saracens find themselves in Europe this season. Here's Jackson to Yates. Of course, Gloucester part of the Premier competition, the Heineken Cup. Played 2, lost 2 in comparison to Saracens played 2, 1-2 in Europe. De Kock just waiting here. He wants the forwards to take it on a little bit further. Checking the alignment in the backs, the scrum half, but again it's Raoului first. Now will De Kock release.
Slow ball, I think he wants to generate a bit of momentum. That's what he wants.
And the forwards are working hard for him, and he wants them back in there again, and now they're almost in the shadow of the post. Referee is playing an advantage. So de Kock's decision-making at scrum half and just driving his forwards there has worked wonders, and David Rose is going back into the pocket. We're going to get another yellow card here.
You know what?
Adam Eustace goes off. So first it was Saracens, now it's Gloucester, trying the referee's patience. He wants a quick game, and within scoring range, the referee is ruthless tonight.
He's out of the Dave Pearson school of yellow cards, isn't he? No warning, and I'm not going to argue with that. You know, if you're slowing the game down when the other team are in a scoring situation, referees are doing the right things here. They want to put pace on the game. There's a big crowd here. They want to be entertained. We're not talking about loose rugby. We're talking about penalising teams that are being negative. And that's why the yellow card initially came into being. It's been taken over by swinging tackles and spear tackles, avoiding the decision, do I go send-off or nothing? But what it should be for, and what it's being used for well by David Rose, is cynical, cheating play.
And what you might see over the next few weeks is the yellow card also being used for back chat. That was the statement issued by the IRB yesterday, and their referees manager, Paddy O'Brien. I think that has been creeping into the game over this last year or so, answering back to the referee, and the yellow card is very much an option in that as well. The directive from the IRB this week. And exactly what happened to Saracens when they conceded the man to the sin bin. They also conceded the 3 points. Now Gloucester has given away one of their players to the bin, and 3 points as well. And can Saracens take advantage of this extra man, having to build from deep initially? Hugh Vivian.
Well, the back row are making a nuisance of themselves. Buxton doing really well, isn't he?
Still with Saracens, but only just. Now it's the two hookers against each other. Ongaro still on the field after that injury. De Kock. Oh, and Nick Ward nearly through there for a charge down. He's very quick on his feet, is the prop. But Jackson got the ball away to halfway.
Gloucester will feel, though, that morally that was a little victory for their 7 forwards against Saracens' 8. I thought Buxton there was doing an absolutely superb job with Luke Narroway. They just wouldn't go away. Right on the gain line, on the edge of illegality, but the right edge. That's what you want from a back row forward.
Buxton, of course, has led this side. It's brought Alami today. And it's brought Alami catching. Lawson, Lamb, look how quickly they were up to Ryan Lamb. He saw that, so he went for the up and under. Kyle chases Scarborough. Oh, he tried not to tackle him, I think. Tried to pull out. Scarborough takes a nasty tumble. Saracens players straight in. They're saying, you just try to make it look good, mate. We know what you were doing. The referee needs to sort it out.
Don't overreact here. I don't think
he's going to go.
I think it's instinct.
Off you go.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that.
Time on, Brian.
Well, Rudy Kyle has gone into the sin bin. Whatever, and that is now 2 men in the sin bin for Gloucester, Adam Eustace and Rudy Kyle, and when it gets down to 13, then Saracens really must take advantage of this period in the game. Scarborough goes up. Does Kyle take him out?
Oh, he gets there, knows what he's done. I don't think there's any real intent there. It's a penalty.
Your space. Your space.
Just starts to turn him, doesn't he? And that's what put it into the referee's mind, but seems to pull out of what he's doing on all fronts.
I just think David Rose went very quickly. He made his mind up there. I think he made his mind up as soon as he saw it, and if he'd have just paused for a few seconds. Now Saracens have a real chance, and they need something before half-time.
Fazaki back with de Kock. Louis, the captain, really wants his side now to up the ante and get this score with the extra men. There's Fullerton. Tackling from Gloucester, ball is loose, and the referee will pull them back.
Skirvin will be a little bit disappointed there because Gloucester were stretched through the middle. And that was a chance. And you can see Glos are fairly efficient in their visits to opponents 22, Saracens not quite so much so.
Ash, just watch the mark from there, please, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
Well, that visit could have produced a little bit more than a knock-on.
Dave Seymour, such an important player at any time, but especially with the extra men, because the link, the open side, so often be the man to make sure that the points are put on the board. Continuity is there in any attacking move, but they'll have to wait for the ball. Having knocked on.
Big job now as well, of course. Gloucester, one forward, one back off, outnumbered in the scrum. Saracens will attack. That's a good scrum.
Boulding, Lawson. Oh, they squeezed out of that hole very well, those two. That is top-notch play from the number 8 and the scrum half, and Lawson there, just see, acknowledges his players as he goes past him. This pack, especially Boulding, because Boulding provides such a big shield here, doesn't he?
Yeah, ballast sometimes very important for an 8. And Boulding, he's not the quickest, but he's strong and he's very well organised. That's tremendous play. And I must say, Lawson is marshalling the team very well behind this pack tonight, but this is about strength and technique. He doesn't panic. Good play there from 8 and 9.
Space is there. Space is there. Space is there. It's fine.
2 men in the sin bin. Under 5 minutes now on the Eustace sin bin. It's Fullerton at the tail. And Johnson to Jackson. Oh, there's a chance here, but Horton is flattened.
Marvellous hit from Walker. Superb tackle.
And that's what it was. It was a hit, wasn't it? Hit into the floor, but still Saracens have it, and they will have the extra men if they keep moving the point of attack. This is Johnston. Ingo Gloucester ferociously looking for that, and they give away a penalty. Now Saracens have a great 3-point chance here with Jackson on the field. And you can see de Kock thinking about getting it moving quickly from the tap to get more than the 3 points while they're 2 men up. We pause again and listen to Dowie. Dowie.
Well, Miles, when you're down to 14 men, I've got to look at this. David Rose, I admire referees for actually sending people to the bin, but actually is Adam Eustace looking at that ball when he makes contact with it? I mean, that's a good bit of footballing skill if he is. I think he's a little bit unlucky there, but David Rose, well, almost true to his word, has put him on, obviously, on the sideline, and that's why Gloucester were down to 14 and now down to 13.
That's not my
That's deja vu, Dow, isn't it? That takes us back a little bit to Lewis Deacon last week in Cardiff. You saw Deacon do that. You knew what he was doing and he got away with it. Credit to him. But that does look a lot more dubious call. And what about the second one, Dowie? Would you have sin bin Rudy Kyle?
By the letter of the law, Stu, you would have to, because you're not allowed to touch anyone in the air. Rudy Kyle, as soon as he did it, he knew, yes, I've made a mistake there. But what really gets me down sometimes when referees think they've had a great game, keeping 15 players on the pitch. Well, the game is actually rubbish because obviously there's so much killing the ball, so many penalties. At least David Rose tonight is stamping his authority, rightly or wrongly on some occasions, but actually by doing that he's creating a better game as the game opens up.
And for Saracens, it's becoming a better night because they have 3 more points and trail now by 9.
Chipping their way back into the game, aren't they? And again, Jackson doesn't waste too much with his kicking. Economy of effort.
And Dowie's absolutely right on the Rudy Kyle sin binning. I mean, by the letter of the law, he had to go. But I think we all sense that Kyle either knew exactly what he'd done straight away or maybe pulled himself out of the challenge as best he could.
Thank you, Brian.
Skirving. De Kock. 2 good scrum halves on the field tonight. And Neil de Kock, Saracens delighted with his signing. Working, of course, with Kieran Bracken, the former Saracens scrum half, who spends a couple of sessions a week down at the club, working with the number 9s. And against Rory Lawson, it's one of the major features of this game, this scrum half battle. De Kock showing there what he can do.
He's been a catalyst in their improvement this season, Neil de Kock. He's gone really well with Glenn Jackson, the South African-New Zealand axis. just eking their way back in, Saracens, without playing well.
Control from Evan Davis. Given away his international place now, you feel, to the youngsters, Matthew Rees and Reece Thomas, but he got a grand slam.
He's legal. Back out, four, move.
And he's still putting in good service for Gloucester. A fine signing for them. Lawson. It's over the top of Horton, and it could run on a long way. It does.
Scrum back.
That's a scrum back.
That's just about the first real blunder from Rory Lawson, who's had a good smooth game, and he's disappointed there. Didn't get the elevation he wanted there, just came heavy off the boot. Gloucester actually did the first part of that really well, because they just kept the ball tight for about 45 seconds, eating time on the clock, which when you're 13 against 15 you want to do. Saracens now have to try and do something in this last play.
Skirving. Gloucester grabbed that try, remember, just before Horton returned to the field. Can Saracens do the same? Johnston, Scarborough, it's on. Ratuvu, but the referee's called them back for a forward pass. It just drifted forward on that final pass. The whistle has gone. Some of the players haven't heard it.
Time, Brian.
And they're still playing on. Ryan Lamb clears Seymour out the way, but now they register the whistle, and they also acknowledge the fact that it's half-time in what was a fascinating first half. Plenty of incident there to talk about. Stuart.
Well, the central figure perhaps has been David Rose, but the better team has been Gloucester. Ryan Lamb has really bounced back from his problems last week very well. Rudy Carl has been a handful, but Saracens are just slipping back into this game. It's a fascinating second half.
And Gloucester will come back onto the field, still men down, remember. So Saracens far from out of this just yet, despite their appalling record on this ground. Saracens already out there, and we can see Shane Byrne on the field, the Saracens reserve hooker today, part of Simon Raoului's team in this second half. Of course, Fabio Ongaro was injured in that first period, knocked his shoulder when he hit the ground. There's Shane Byrne, the Irish international, 41 caps, played 3 tests for the Lions, of course, in 2005 against New Zealand. And just to update you on the sin bins, Adam Eustace is in the sin bin for 1 more minute at the start of this second half. And Rudy Kyle, who had a mixed first period, 2 tries in the sin bin, he still has 3 minutes and 40 seconds in there. And Ryan Lamb had a very good first half, didn't he? Starts this second period. And Skirving for Saracens, De Kock, and then Jackson. And again, it's Nick Wood who's coming through to try and do a charge down, the ever-active prop for Gloucester. Jackson is unfazed and gets his first touch.
James Simpson-Daniel didn't even consider going for the quick line out there. Gloucester will take their time, they'll be methodical here. It's good to see from a Saracens perspective, Ben Skirvin running for the first time. An important carrier for them, didn't really get motoring in the first half. They need him to carry a lot more.
Missed the second half of last season with that serious shoulder injury. But it's Saracens who've given away the penalty. Told to leave the man in the air, and Adam Eustace is allowed out of the bin, is he? No. Penalty must be taken first. Walker kicks. Not a bad one either. Here comes Eustace now. No doubt to a big cheer. Gloucester back up to 14.
That's a good punt, wasn't it? And now, not only are they up to 14, but they're up to a full complement of forwards as well. And we've seen the threat from Gloucester driving close to the Saracens line. And they'll be looking for that again now. Bortolami leading well.
21 years of age when he led his country for the first time. Oh, that's thrown all the way through, though, to Hugh Vivian. And then Neil De Kock with Horton, who spent 10 minutes himself in the sin bin in the first half, chasing after that.
It's a very good kick from Neil De Kock, and what a waste there from Gloucester that was. Meffin Davis and his forwards get that all wrong, and De Kock finds a lot of distance from a very tight angle. Well played, the scrum half.
can see him encouraging the Saracens' backs to use this extra man while Carl is still off the field. There's the man who's just returned, Adam Eustace. Good take from him at the line out. Gloucester looking to keep it tight at this stage, just run down the clock. So they're back at 15 versus 15 very shortly. Lawson is looking for the ball still from Narroway, who did well there, almost freed his arms to put Lawson away. Not quite, but it's still with Gloucester. They play keep ball and get over halfway. And go again.
Did that well, did that very well. Doing it well.
And still with them. If Gloucester win with a bonus point tonight, they go top of the Guinness Premiership table.
Don't go in the side four.
There's a wonderful use of time here by Gloucester. Just 30 seconds left now for Rudy Carl in that sin bin. Lamb, oh, beat Seymour that time, left him for dead. Left him grasping for this cold air at Kingsholm. Lawson to Buxton, and blasted his way through the first tackle too. It's good stuff from Gloucester. Lawson with a little chip. Retuvu. He's kicked a long way himself, but Ryan Lamb is there. Good catch from Lamb in front of the shed. And he goes himself after his own kick. The cock has called and he makes a good catch. Jackson.
Okay, once you pass
good skills out there at the moment. Skirving looking to go through.
Again, that acceleration of Skirving, really good for a big man.
Jackson to Sorrell, but he's been flattened by Jack Adams. Good meeting of the two centres there. Kevin Sorrell put right in the dirt. Rawalui to Shane Byrne. And that's the halfway line as de Kock feeds to Jackson. Crossfield kick. Bailey has to go back. Retuvu is chasing. Bailey won't get too long. He calls in Willie Walker. Again, kicks in a very accomplished manner. Rudy Kyle about to return.
Okay, thanks, Devers. Let him on.
Well, I guess Gloucester will just about take a 6-point deficit while they were down to 13 men. But just as Carl comes back, you can see Jack Adams now having treatment.
Oh yes, they've survived that period very well indeed, haven't they? 13 men,
12.
6 points conceded, and 3 of those 6 points straight away after the first sin bin. So they don't really count, do they? Well, they do, but you know what I mean.
Actually kept the ball for quite a large period at that time without going far, but they counted the clock quite cleverly. You know, and it's a young team, and just signs of maturity. Not necessarily pretty, but it's part and parcel of winning rugby.
Good throw from Byrne. Taken by Ben Johnston. Lamb, good tackle from him. He's not the biggest, is he, at fly half, but he stopped the strong Saracens centre Ben Johnston in his tracks. Now can Gloucester stop Simon Rawalui? Easier said than done. De Kock. Up comes Nieto. Referee was playing advantage. They've broken the offside line. Another chance for Saracens. Another chance for Glenn Jackson.
Well, Gloucester are just gifting Saracens a way back into this game, aren't they? And you know, the way Jackson's striking the ball, this should be a formality for him. I hate saying words like that. And he has a way of coming back, the old commentator's curse, but he has struck the ball very well. And just a bit of frustration from Gloucester, and signs that Saracens are trying to pick up the pace of the game. And they didn't generate any pace in the first half. They're only 9 points down. If they get this kick, they're 6 down. They're going to go into the last half hour with a heck of a lot of self-belief.
Which has been building for the Fez heads. Sarri the Camel. It's been building for those supporters and their team over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They send out the famous Saracens vibes. Jackson, it was a formality. And it's 18-12 now. And it's becoming a very different game.
It's tightening up a little bit, isn't it? Oh, just shaves the left-hand post. Commentator's curse almost hooked that one, but Jackson's a good enough kicker to overcome even that from up here on top of the shed. And now Gloucester, little questions from them. They seem to be going so well, and Saracens have just chipped their way back into the contest.
Lamb restarts. The more and more that Saracens get the likes of Scurvy into this game. As Johnson tries to hand off inside his own 22.
It's well played.
It's the way that Saracens want to play, isn't it? To use the big men like Scurving and Vivian, get them rampaging upfield, and then that control from half-back that we've seen, and no doubt Brian Redpath will have admired in Saracens' play watching the DVDs over this week. The combination between de Kock and Jackson playing off that big driving play. But you're right, Luke Narroway would have impressed Redpath too there.
Definitely. That was almost a breakaway from Johnston there. Just a few signs for Saracens. Scurving starting to move at pace. Johnston almost through. Gloucester need to just take a grip of this game. It's just not slipping away, but it's coming all the way back round to an evens call.
Burn is still going on. He's almost back on his feet there. De Kock. And again, Jackson. Raoul Louis was in the way. Jackson decided not to release the ball. Gloucester claim an obstruction. Referee shakes his head. Raoul Louis picks up in that big hand of his. Nieto and Buxton trying to wrestle the ball off him. Now de Kock's lost it. Turnover ball. Chance to strike. Lawson quickly to Kyle. And Bailey is going after this. And in the end, nobody has to play it.
A good aggressive defence there from Gloucester. Forced a turnover. They didn't have an overlap. The kick was a sensible one. It would have been better for Gloucester had it stayed in field to give Bailey the chance, but at least they've got themselves some territory again.
Once again tonight, the Guinness Premiership proving that during the international period, it's alive and well. The big crowd here in Gloucester enthralled by this contest. Hard to pick a winner now. Scurving again. Kock. Jackson prods it through the gap. Purposeful touch find. Here's Dowie.
Well, as the Sheds start to sing, Miles, every sort of orchestra needs a conductor. He may not be the biggest person on the field, but I tell you what, he has got all the skills. Again, it's that midfield situation. He feints to kick. Seymour and Jackson don't think he's going to do it, and he's straight through again, busting that midfield. Again, massive problems for Saracens. This kid has got all the tricks. Fantastic.
You're right, Sarries.
And he's still very much a work in progress, and that is so important to remember. Just 20 years of age, these youngsters at Gloucester, the likes of Adams, Allen. We'll see tomorrow at Twickenham.
That's subtlety, but good power there.
Here's Lamb. Adams. Lawson to Wood. And he carries well, Nick Wood. He's having a truly impressive season. Lawson to old Buxton eventually. Tried to barge his man down there, Scurving. And did that, but just couldn't stay on his feet long enough to offload to the runner. Wood's involved again. Gloucester still have possession here, and the crowd can sense something building towards the Saracens line. Ryan Lamb chips, looking for James Simpson-Daniel, taken by Horton, who's called for the mark. Awarded by David Rose. Oh, Richard Horton, no. That's a knock-on.
Oh, and how the Shed love that one. An understanding, forgiving audience. It always hurts this home crowd to see an opponent make a howler, and that is not good from Horton, because it wasn't the best decision from Ryan Lamb, and Richard Horton starved a ball, thought I can go from here. Great broken field runner, just lost the ball. What a position for Gloucester.
Just imagine what's going through Simon Raoul Louis' mind there as he draws on the dragon breath this evening. Cold night. And he will be pondering about this decision by Richard Horton. Decision by Lamb, Stewart says, with the men outside, was questionable. Had he been right on the money for Simpson-Daniel, then everybody would have said what a fantastic kick, but he wasn't. He went to Horton, and Horton, trying to go quickly from the mark, makes a total hash of it. Just wonder whether the referee might have played advantage with a bit longer there as the ball was taken from Horton in the tackle. Anyway, Gloucester won't be complaining. They've got a scrum. Bowling, Lawson, Lamb, Lawson again. advantage now to Saracens as the ball is knocked on and they go away. Ratuvu, little chip. Scarborough's going after this. Walker's trying to get back. Look how quick Dan Scarborough is. Oh, the ball just wouldn't work for him. But what a little flip to Johnston. Then Horton is put on the ground by Kyle. Big tackle that, but it's still on for Saracens. They have the numbers. Jackson's going. He's looking for Scarborough, and he can't take it. Bailey somehow has got himself in between, and the referee said Saracens didn't roll away. It's a Gloucester penalty, and that is end-to-end rugby.
Breaks down here, Lawson just tries to force that one, and then good play from Ben Johnston. And Ratavu, he really is quick. And Dan Scarborough, as quick as anyone on the pitch. Break goes away from him. He does so well here, very alert. And the tackle from Kyle is a thumper. And then James Bailey, as the play is switched back to the short side, does really well because he keeps his body between Scarborough and Jackson. Otherwise, that's a try. Well played, Bailey. It's not always defensively about making the tackles. It's about being in the right place. And sometimes making the tackles helps too.
Terrific counter-attacking from Saracens, but on that occasion, the defence was better. Scarborough didn't get very much luck on the bounce of the ball, but great skill to flip it off the floor, and then what a tackle from Kyle. As you say, the awareness of Bailey, but it's still with Saracens, and this game is still very much in the melting pot. 6 points between the two sides. Jackson, nice and flat again. Scarborough, encouraged by what's just happened, picked up by Sorrell. That was a beauty as well from Kevin Sorrell. In goes to Cock. Then Jackson, Scarborough heavily involved. He's touched the ball more in this last 2 minutes than for the rest of the match. Dan Scarborough, the Saracens fullback.
I told you about Saracens now. There's an extra slickness behind. Now this is slow. They'll try and generate pace, but they do look as if they've got belief here.
Byrne and Visagi now travel over that 22. Here comes Kevin Yates from depth. Well, Davis was on the wrong side. He got a boot for being there as well. Kevin Sorrell tries to step, but Gloucester are organised again. The whistle has gone. The referee's had a call from his touch judge, and I wonder if that's for use of the boot.
Time off, Brian. Yes, Stuart. Yeah.
Stewart is Stuart Terridge, who's the
He's clearly got the ball won.
touch judge on this near
Ball's
side.
nowhere near this player. Has come in and trodden on the ankle of that player there. Be very careful. It's unnecessary. Go away. Don't need to go to again. Away you go.
Yes, it was for that foul play, communicated by the touch judge
On, Brian.
to referee David Rose.
Meffin Davis on the wrong side. Is it him who gets it? Well, he gets a little bit down his back. And the referee was saying it was work on the ankle there. And that certainly wasn't Corbus Visagi either.
And that's why Saracens were a little bit nonplussed.
Well, Gloucester will be certainly pleased with their discipline. In the first place, it's what got Saracens back into this game. I can't quite work out. Was it 18-9 at half-time?
It was.
Then I don't quite know how Saracens kicked a penalty if Gloucester haven't conceded one in this half, but never mind. Little gremlin on the 4th of November. They have kicked a penalty, haven't they?
Yeah, Jackson penalty in this second half, no doubt about that.
Don't go in at the front.
Evan Davis throws. Portalami takes.
Back out now. 6 back out. Please, sorry, 6.
Bit more
Gremlins on the 4th of November, by the way, but it's 31st of October.
No, in the West Country 4 days later, different calendar. Now Saracens have the put in, and they're just starting to make some inroads here in the West Country. Didn't you know that? It's like it's a cross between the Christian and the Julian calendar, Miles. 4 days.
The man with a head like Stonehenge, Stuart Barnes. Oh dear. Right, back to the rugby, and it's Saracens put in, and it's de Kock.
Oh, it come easy. Easy, he's off.
It's just game is...
Not get lazy with the binds now on that side.
It's on a tightrope, isn't it? you know, it could be 25 minutes of flow. It'll be a great game. It could be too much blow from the whistle, and it might just kill it. But it is really tantalisingly poised.
No, it's not steady. Not steady. Swing it that time.
You want the players to help the referee, but you want the referee to help the players here in this situation as well.
Marvellous, thank you. Crouch and hold, engage!
Well, they're offering help.
Stay on 6.
Of sorts. De Kock, Jackson. Here comes Horton off his wing. Referee waves it on. Ratuva. 3 Gloucester men there to make the tackle on the Fijian winger. They almost got him into touch. When they do, he doesn't have the ball, so Saracens play on with Raului. Kock to Jackson. He's floating one out. Burn.
Have to step in field there, Shane.
To the blind side, and Horton again. Feeling the weight of these tackles in the second half. Richard Horton, Nick Wood there.
Stay down.
Raului.
Hands away.
Another score here for Saracens. And their belief will grow onto another level. Johnson. Here's Yates.
Strong surge from Yates.
Jackson. Sorrell. There is a man who can find a way through in those situations at Kevin Sorrell. That low running style of his, Raului. There's the ball for Scarborough. It's there now. Jackson. Doesn't work with Johnson, but it doesn't go forward. Scarborough. Trying to be patient, trying to find a way through, but it's starting to break down, and it's going horribly wrong as Lamb kicks on. But Ben Johnson is there. As it breaks up a little bit, maybe Saracens get their chance. De Kock. Willie Walker. A slice from him now.
Just the shape of the early Gloucester game gone a little bit. Some errors from Saracens going forward, but most of the ambition is theirs at the moment. You just have to be careful. If they try and force the game, they get too lateral, they play too much 7-a-side rugby, and then Gloucester, in the shape of Simpson, Daniel or Bailey, someone like that, will burst through. But at the moment, Saracens have taken the momentum of this game.
But not the lead. And that is what they seek here. It's not as if the first hour means nothing, but it does feel like the real game is starting now from this point. Final quarter of the match we're about to go into.
Leave it now, leave him!
De Kock and Jackson combine again. Johnson, Scarborough. They keep looking, they keep trying to find a way through. Raului. De Kock spins the ball to Jackson. Eustace tries to make the tackle, but Jackson goes on. De Kock again, it came off a boot, it wasn't a knock-on. This is Skirving. That's what he was doing inside his own 22. Now it's in the Gloucester territory, but holding on, says referee David Rose, just when they had built the platforms.
Let go!
Well, it's frustrating for Saracens, it really is.
Yeah, excellent defence from Gloucester, though. They've kept their discipline, and Walker's away. Quick tap and go.
Ratuvu eventually gets it, but Simpson, Daniel and Bailey are there, the two speedsters. Another quick man, Horton kicks.
Don't go forward 5.
Oh, that's got a long, long way. Bortolami. Lamb. That's staying alive. Skirving offloads. Oh, De Kock is going. Look at this. From the scrum half. That is brilliant. Can't find Scarborough. Johnson picks up. In doing so, he couldn't keep his feet. De Kock is still on the ground. He's reeling after that challenge. But what a run from him. Who's going to act at scrum half? Hugh Vivian is. No way through there. Again, the Gloucester defence is good and solid. De Kock's back on his feet. Jackson.
Too many men flooding the short side there. Gloucester had numbers.
Raului. Here the wince as he went into the challenge on the referee's microphone. Byrne, he's lost the ball. Scarborough has looked as threatening as anybody. Was that a late challenge from Kyle? Certainly Glenn Jackson thought so. Said to the referee adamant that it wasn't. And Kyle, remember, already Simbin for taking the man out in the air.
Good ferocious defence, I think, from Rudy Kyle there. Now, just look at this. Saracens, though, starting to build up some territory. 7 visits to Gloucester's 22, but just 3 points. They haven't been able to create any space. There's been plenty of power, but the creativity hasn't quite been there. Great defence from Gloucester.
It's the front line again. Here's Dowie.
Well, what a game we've got on here now, boys, I tell you what. But as the sort of Saracens forwards up the ante, it's their backs actually that are impressing me. Gloucester's backs in the first half started cutting people to pieces, but it's a fine line between crossing and a clever use of angles. That was a beautiful use of angles there. Jack Adams puts his hands up, it doesn't matter. And as the Saracens come back into the game, they're using their backs more and more.
Yeah, he was in front of the man there, the decoy runner, but he wasn't obstructed, and that's the point. So, as you say, Dowie, fine line stuff. That was good play from Saracens, but still, Gloucester just seemed to have the key to the defence in their own 22.
Come on, Brian. Hold him there, Stewie. Hold him there, Stewie.
Ludovic Mercier is on the field now for Gloucester. How does that change their approach?
Well, I just wonder if that last slice kick from Ryan Lamb just made Ryan go for the decision. What it does mean is that Gloucester will play more territory with a big Frenchman's boot, no doubt about that.
Dean Ryan, that is, making the decision. This is Sorrell to Johnston. Rotuvu trying to pop up on that far side now to join his wing colleague Horton. There wasn't enough space for either of them, and Gloucester again with his powerful tackling. And it gets them a penalty, and the referee once more, he will not allow the player to hang on to that ball today. Saw it last Sunday, didn't we, at the Millennium Stadium in the Heineken Cup, where Alan Lewis almost instantly gave the penalty for the ball not being released in the tackle, and he was totally consistent. It does lead to a quick game, and David Rose has been consistent in that tonight. There's Dean Ryan.
Well, what's going on in his head at the moment? You'll remember last year when Gloucester had to beat Wasps to get into the top 4 and make the playoffs. Ryan Lamb had given a dazzling display, and Ryan subbed him. He went for the conservative Mercier option. It went wrong, and Gloucester lost that game. Lamb has played really well today until that slice kick and the missed tackle. Immediately he brought Mercier on, not to kick the goals, I think, but to boom down and gain territory. So it's a big call from Dean Ryan, because it's gone wrong in the past. Big call.
I still want to do that. Yeah.
And of course Mercier could be the goal kicker as well. He's not. And being trusted with this kick again is Willie Walker, and why not, the way he has been going. Important kick this, with 6 points between the teams before the kick, and it stays at 6 points between the teams. Scarborough. This isn't going out. Mercier is caught and caught it at pace. Crowd like that. Boulding. Mercier again. Just rather swung at the player, and Nick Wood in the end as well not to knock it on. Lawson. Walker. Happy to slot into that first receiver role. Poor Dan Scarborough's going to get quite a reception committee there.
He's been feisty. Jack Adams chased really well there, and James Bailey, another very improved player, worked very hard chasing the kicking game. That was a good kick from Walker, wasn't it?
18 is Chris Chesney. 22 is Rob Penny. Horton goes off. Who's going off for Chesney? It's Hugh Vivian. There's Rob Penny. Tries against Bath in the big win, and Chris Chesney, a big man who was sin-binned last season versus Gloucester. He's got a bit of an edge to him as Chris Chesney. Kyle, who was sin-binned earlier this evening, but very much part of this game now. Lawson, Walker, Bailey. Lawson again, missed out Ward, and it was well left to Nieto. Not coming back, referee gives a foot in Gloucester's way.
Just a tackle. Ooh.
Gloucester about to make a change themselves. John Pendlebury.
Four red. Thank you, Debbers.
And Adam Eustace has got the call to lead the field. The former Bath and Rotherham man, Pendlebury.
Well, it's been a little stop-start in this second half, but in between the stops, some of the physicality has been quite ferocious. So Eustace, he's played his part, get a fresh second row on, as Gloucester try and push, get a bit more pace into their game, as Saracens have done with their subs, get another score, get clear of that 7-pointer.
Yes, they're not in any kind of comfort zone at the moment, Gloucester, by any stretch of the imagination. They know it, the shed knows it. Simpson Daniel, referee playing advantage, has Bortolami, in goes Bailey, Mercier. Nothing doing there, still advantage. Lawson, Narroway, he's had a good night, Narroway, and he's barging his way on here. That is a fine play from the forward. Lawson goes in again, now it's Walker, out it goes to Simpson Daniel, looking for one of those spins of his. And after quite a long advantage, the referee goes back. So this is going to be a penalty.
Well, Michael was saying at half-time, perhaps David Road could have played slightly longer advantages. Sometimes you just feel you go almost too far the other way, because that's about 40 seconds of dead time where nothing really is happening, and he's just eating the clock up there. How many phases do you get? And after that Narroway surge, that was really quick ball. You felt he might just have said advantage over. As it is, Gloucester will take the advantage of 3 points, because that will change everything. Saracens will have to go gung-ho then for the try, because they'll be 9 behind.
Saw there Tom Ryder, who's stripped off down in front of the Gloucester coaches. Saracens making the change call here. Alan Gaffney, Richard Graham, Edrin Kennedy, their coaching team, of course. Tom Ryder, former Leicester man. It's not a night you want to have the tracksuit off for too long.
This will be interesting. Mercier's first kick. Do you recall the Wasp game? He came on, he had a kick early on, and he made a horrible mess of it. And some kickers like to be on from the start. They like to know they're playing. Mentally, it changes when you come off the bench. So this is going to be interesting.
He's got the one from the angle. Let's see what he does. It's tricky. It shaves the upright, and it's over. And the Gloucester supporters know that they can breathe a little bit easier now with this gap. Job is not yet done, but Mercier has supplied possibly a vital 3 points there. That just touches the woodwork, does it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the second one that shaved the posts. And that gives Saracens a real headache. A very important and a very fine kick from Ludovic Mercier there. For all their huff and puff, Saracens now desperately need a try. Desperately.
Boulding. Mercier.
That's not what he was brought on for.
Well, at least he got it away, I suppose, but not his best clearance. Andy Farrell about to emerge into this game, maybe. And where will he play? Inside centre? We shall see.
The crowd sing "Who Are You?" They're not rugby league fans in this part of England.
Won't stop them cheering Carl Price, though, will it?
He's a Gloucester player in this neck of the woods now.
It's Gloucester ball now. Crowd like that, they approve of it. The cock comes charging out of the traps, but Mercier is cool. But here's Dan Scarborough. Penny.
Hands away!
The cock, good pass. Jackson, Scarborough again.
Hands out, Gloucester. Straight.
De Kock again, Jackson once more. And then the replacement, Chris Chesney.
Let it come, let it come!
Jackson's come this side. But Johnson and Sorrell break down. And you wonder if that's their final combination of the night, because Farrell is coming on, and the number being held up is number 12, that is Ben Johnson. So we will see Andy Farrell in Guinness Premiership action. Outside the fly half, inside centre.
Very different style centre. Johnston very quick, fast on his feet. Farrell perhaps doesn't have the same pace, but his role will be to create space for others, to find space, because what Saracens haven't been able to do, they made the odd half break, but they haven't opened up Gloucester at all. Expect Farrell to play right up on the game line and try and get his hands through the tackle and get someone like Sorrell, someone like Scarborough running off him. That's what he's on that field to do now.
And there is a steely, competitive look in his eyes, one well known to followers of rugby league. One of the truly great rugby players, whatever the code, over the last few years.
Come closer, come closer. Crouch and hold. Engage!
De Kock is round on Lawson as that battle continues. It's a good kick, and it's well chased and taken by Bailey, and then Buxton was there. Lawson, Bailey, Buxton, key figures tonight for Gloucester. So too Melvin Davis goes into Dave Seymour. Lawson again. Mercier. He is kicking the corners. And he's kicking them well.
That's smart rugby. That's exactly where Gloucester's forwards want to be and where the Sarries do not want to be. All his experience. Brian Lamb had another fine, precocious game. But they've got Mercier on now to just stabilise the operation. Steady the ship. Make Saracens play from a long way, make them take risks, try and finish the game off then.
Byrne, pressure throw, it's tapped back. Ryder tried to go round with Chesney, but it was lost forward off a Gloucester hand, so a bit of relief there for Saracens. Some worrying moments.
But from Gloucester's perspective, yes, there's a knock-on, but just watch that clock. Top left-hand corner, ticking away. The Saracens now have a scrum, and time is flying away from them at the moment. 5 metres from their own line.
Square. I want it square. Square. Yeah, and your back 5 as well. I want you square, please. Square it up. Oh, we'll get
Farrell checking his defensive positioning.
Hold, engage! Angle, want it square. Angle, please.
Game being played to a backdrop of fireworks over the city of Gloucester.
Right, there's your mark.
But from Gloucester's perspective, the game they would like to see. Well, end with something of a damp squib, that would suit them.
A few guys on that bonfire in the scrum. Take some stuffing. Skirving. De Kock. And Jackson spirals the ball towards the shed. Remember, Gloucester go joint top with Bristol. If they win this match, they'll be level on 22 points. Bonus point will get them, therefore, to the outright top position. And there's the crowd tonight, just over 10,000 with a healthy attendance. And there's no doubt about who they support.
Don't come at me like that. Away you go.
Two captains facing up there. Raoul Louis, Bordalami.
5. 5, you adjust. 5. 5, Sarries. Space. Right, number off. 5! 5!
The referee just emphasising to Saracens they've got too many in the line out. Telling Skirvin to stay out, which he does. Very quickly into the drive.
16,
he was allowed to.
Move.
Glos.
Onside, wingers onside.
Ratuvu with Bailey there again. Doesn't make the catch.
Don't react!
But the referee says take it out again. That happened earlier in the match. And there has been a reaction as there was then.
Oh, wait, no, he's going for that. Same as in the first half.
Oh, he's going to the sin bin. Just like Rudy Kyle before James Bailey goes to the sin bin.
If Kyle went, there was never any doubt that James Bailey was going to go.
Thank you, Brian.
And time is running out for Saracens to win this game, but they've still got 5 minutes and there's still the bonus point.
And that gives them a chance, having the extra man.
Now, see, I think that was a more blatant tackle in the air than Rudy Kyle's. I'm still not certain about the card for that, but they're going to the law, so I don't suppose we can complain.
Double change, meanwhile, in the Gloucester front row. Nick Ward's gone off, as you can see, with Mevin Davis. And that means we have Colazo and Azam. We also have Andy Farrell out there now with Saracens with the extra man again. But they need 2 scores to win this match. But they'll also be thinking about a bonus point to leave Kings home with something to knock on in midfield, and it's a chance for Rory Lawson to go. But that hits Ratuvu, didn't know much about it, referee waved it on.
Accidental offside.
But it leads to an accidental offside, and
His face.
Saracens will get the put in.
His face. Yeah, we're going to carry on. This could be bad, it could be bad. It could be bad. Yeah. Time off.
Jack Adams now just getting, not to his feet, but in a sitting position, which is good news. David Rose wanted to play on, but if it's a knock to the head, he just can't take that sort of risk.
You can hear the referee saying it could be bad, and if there's any doubt, I don't think anyone can complain when the referee stops the game, even at this tender moment in the match.
No, you just can't take that sort of risk. Has been a bit frenetic the second half, and I think Gloucester's creative ability in the first 20 might just see them home here. Plenty of fight from Saracens, no lack of spirit, but just some of the direction, some of the class that we thought was there in the last few weeks, lacking. They've been given a platform this half. Do they have one last throw at it?
Neil de Kock, Glenn Jackson, Andy Farrell. Jackson goes round. This could work. It's Scarborough. Back gets Simpson Daniel. Rudy Kyle was there as well. Referee gives the penalty. You know what for, holding on.
Away.
Delighted Rudy Kyle there. Makes the point with a big smile.
No need, you're the captain.
Others make it in a different way in the shed.
He's defended very well, Rudy Kyle. Couple of tries as well. Again, you know, Anthony Allen goes away and plays for England. This guy comes in and slots in very well. Here's the roll-round move. I'm surprised, actually, they got so far so quickly. But again, isolated. Great tackling by Adams and Kyle. Tacklers get over the ball. Oh, it's a missed touch.
Scarborough. Farrell again. Ratuvu. Oh, good step. Then Sorrell. Buxton, and a big bear has got hold of him. The Kock to Yates. Zaghi pushes it forward a bit. Jackson, Seymour looking for width, but Seymour has straightened up the attack at just the right moment. The width comes from Skirving. Just couldn't take that one in his stride. He was stretching for the ball. De Kock. Jackson again. Goes himself, will be isolated, but he sets it back, and Saracen doing well in the end to get the support there. But not that time. Penalty from David Rose.
Oh, Glenn Jackson looks frustrated there. This is ruthless whistling.
2 on their feet.
And that might just be Saracens' last chance at getting the win. They still have 2 minutes to go for a bonus point. It seems unfeasible now that they can overhaul a 9-point deficit.
Take the line, Sarries.
It's inside the final 2 minutes at Kingsholm. Perhaps asking too much, especially from a side who hasn't scored a try this evening. They've relied on the boot of Glenn Jackson. 2 tries coming from Gloucester's Rudy Kyle in the first half. That's been the difference between the two teams. And Gloucester, you know, they have created.
Yeah, they've looked the sharper team. Saracens, like I say, very brave in the second half, but the cutting edge not quite there as Ryan Lamb and co created in the first half.
And at this stage, and with that scoreline, Gloucester quite happy just to keep it to themselves. They're 2 tries away from a bonus point of their own. They've got an advantage. It's unlikely they're going to score 2 tries in a minute, so it's no-risk rugby from them. They keep the ball away. They knew the penalty was coming, and the frustration would just build for Saracens. Byrne tells Penny to throw it back, but Gloucester won't be rushing. So time for your man of the match, Steve.
I've been really impressed with Gloucester's half-backs today. Ryan Lamb did a very good job, and young Rory Lawson has been excellent for Gloucester. But I think Rudy Kyle's 2 tries and his experience marshalling the defence in midfield has been vital. You know, he had an inexperienced player in Adams outside him. He had Ryan Lamb inside. Defensively, when Saracens came for Gloucester, he stood up to everything. So my Guinness man of the match is Rudy Kyle.
And that is now announced to the crowd over the tannoy. And they react well to it.
Let him come down. Let him come down. Your space.
They're learning to love you.
A lot of learning required. A lot of learning.
A lot of loving required. Keep ball again from Gloucester. It's their game now, into the final play. Just need to make sure that Saracens don't get the bonus point. If they're being totally clinical. Another score to help their own total. Wouldn't go amiss. With the crowd starting to celebrate. They'll be heading off to their bonfire parties in a good mood in this part of the world. Nieto goes, another advantage being played. But they have the final flourish. Mercier will certainly have the final penalty.
Leave it. Number 15. In the side. Penalty zone. 16. Finish.
Sport for choice. What do we do, boys?
Finish.
Well, you just kick the ball out. It'll upset the team, the crowd. But it means Saracens get nothing. Gloucester can't get a bonus point. Only thing to do.
All done. That's what they do. The European defeats were the reality check for Gloucester. This victory, one that proves that there is plenty of character and strength in depth of this evolving squad of players. That's a satisfying result for the home team and for Dean Ryan. Gloucester beating Saracens by 21 points to 12. Stuart.
No beauty pageant, but Gloucester needed to be pragmatic. They did that. They were the better team. They were organised defensively. As we say, Saracens had possession in the second half, but they just didn't have the nous to crack Gloucester. Whereas inspired by Ryan Lamb and Rudy Kyle in the first half, Gloucester made the breakthroughs. They had the lead. And despite a couple of men sin-binned, 3 men sin-binned, they always looked just too good. Well played, both half-backs. That man, Rory Lawson, Gloucester just about good enough.
European troubles, but still unbeaten in the Premiership. It was a night of Rudy Kyle tries, 2 of them. It was also a night of sin-bins, and now it's a night of sin-bad because James Simpson-Daniel is with Mel.
Well, James, some people wondered how confidence levels would be at Gloucester going into this game. That's a fairly positive response, wasn't it?
It was in some areas. We made a lot of mistakes again, but we've had a tough week at Gloucester, you know, losing the last 2 weeks. Leinster away, and then obviously we lost to Argent last week at home, which is tough to take. So we had a tough week. The boys were challenged by the coaches, we challenged each other, and we got, it might not have been the prettiest game, but we got 4 points at the end of the day.
Were you concerned you were going to let Saracens back into the game at one point?
It was looking that way at one point. You know, I thought, God, don't let it happen again. You know, we've been our own worst enemy a few times this season and last season. But as I say, we're just thrilled to have the 4 points.
With all the injuries you've got at the moment, it must be great timing to have you back. How did you feel out there today?
I didn't do a huge amount with the ball or whatever, but it was, you know, you can do as much fitness in training, but to get out on the pitch and run around, the lungs open up, and, you know, a lot of work off the ball, and it was great to be playing again. I love it.
Dean Ryan said not to expect too much from you too soon. What are you expecting from yourself?
I'm just really happy at the moment that I got through the game. You know, I injured myself first game back after the off-season, and I was very disappointed, obviously. But no, I'm really pleased to be playing again, and hopefully I'll build a few games up and get my form back.
Thanks for your time. Well done today.
Cheers.
So there we go, winning return for James Simpson-Daniel and Gloucester, and as Miles was saying, they remain the only unbeaten side now in the Guinness Premiership after 6 rounds, and the reason for that is because Bristol went down last night at Newcastle. Johnny Wilkinson played a full 80 minutes and helped the Falcons to their 2nd win of the season, 26-21. Elsewhere so far this weekend, the champions Sale beat London Wasps 18-12. And elsewhere today at the Rec, Bath went down again, this time to London Irish 21-17. Leicester picked up a bonus point victory over Worcester, 40 points to 21. And Harlequins with their first win this season, and also their first bonus point, winning bonus point that is, 34-19. They put the Saints away. So what it means to the table is this. It is Gloucester who lead the way on points difference from Bristol. Top 4 made up of Sale and London Wasps as well. And Worcester's loss at Leicester means they have moved adrift of Harlequins, 5 points to be precise. Newcastle up into 10th, stay in 10th, but level on points now with Northampton. So that's the state of play at the moment in the Guinness Premiership. Here's what's coming up over the next few weeks on Sky Sports.